All right, good people of the internet, excuse my nappiness, but I'm telling you, within all of this, it's a wealth of information that I am about to bestow onto you in this live. So, as usual, we just have to make sure that our live is sounding good. I'm gonna get straight into this one, guys. We're gonna be talking about emergency funds and investing and all of that good stuff.
Emergency funds.
Okay, cool. So we're all good. Um, so the title of this live is, God, I gotta get a better shot of myself. Yeah, okay. The title of this live is Stop Investing and Build an Emergency Fund. Um, this is something that I did not understand the importance of until recently, but I'm gonna tell you why you want to do this. So I'm gonna refute a couple of contrary ideas, and I'm gonna really lay down to you some fundamental like wealth building principles that's going to really help you see this conflict, this discrepancy in a different light. So topic was the opportunity cost. Like if I take time, let's say a year, and I build up an emergency fund, or if I'm paying off debt, whatever it is, think about what my money could be doing in that same period of time. So, right, if I'm putting my money, just to give you guys context, like this is before interest rates were high. If I'm putting my money into the bank account, it's not earning anything. It's just sitting there, not doing nothing. The bank does not, when the interest rates were zero, even then, most checking accounts, let's just like a money market account or something, there's zero. You get $0 for having your money in the bank account. That's the reality of it. Um, and so I was looking at it from that lens, and this is what a lot of people teach: the opportunity cost. Well, what if, right, hypothetically, in that same period, let's just say you took a year, it would take you a year to build a substantial emergency fund. What if in that same period of time you can earn 10% on your money? So here's what I'll say to that. Life is structured in such a way, there's two things. Life is structured in such a way where you need money to do things. Um, Money is the medium of exchange. And so, because life is structured in that way where it's the medium of exchange, and life is also in such that anything is subject to happen at any given time, there's Murphy's Law. Famously known people, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but you can look it up. It's Murphy's Law, physics, a physics law. And basically what the law says is that if it can happen, it will happen. To illustrate this point, if I can drop this phone, the potential is here because it's not sitting on a flat surface. The potential by it being in my hand, there's potential for it to drop. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna let this phone drop, but the potential is there for it to drop. And so, if something has the potential to happen under Murphy's law, then it will happen. And see, the reality is, yeah, even though like right now I'm consciously deciding that I'm not going to allow my phone to drop, but the reality is I've dropped this sucker a bunch of times. That's the reality. And not intentionally. I haven't intentionally dropped my phone. Like, believe me, I paid a good chunk of money for this phone. I think I paid like $800 for this phone. So I make sure I'm getting in a good light, y'all. By no stretch of the imagination am I ever going to intentionally drop my phone. But the reality is, life is set up in such a way where things that can happen will happen. And so you can apply that fundamental to basically anything in life. If your car can break down, which it can break down because it's a mechanical device, it will. That's just the reality of it. Um, I don't care if you have a new car. I don't care if the car's only a couple years old. I literally, guys, had a couple years ago. I had bought a brand new Tacoma, brand new 20. I think it was a 2020. The 2020 Tacoma. I bought it brand new off the lot. I was the first owner, right? Tell me why I was having issues with that car, brand new off the lot. Now they weren't major issues. I think the issue I was dealing with was like the exhaust bolts were loose, and so like when the car was on, like it would rattle. You hear this loud rattling noise like coming from under the car, and so I knew it was something exhaust related. But I mean, in the theory of okay, well, it's a new car, I shouldn't have no problems. Like no, like it's a mechanical device. It will have issues. Doesn't matter if it's brand new off the lot. Doesn't matter. It's a mechanical device, and so the framework of thinking, if it can happen, it will happen, applies there. You would have never thought brand new Tacoma of all vehicles. We're not even talking about American vehicle. We're talking about a Japanese car having issues within the first 10,000 miles. Like I said, one major issues, but it was something that I had to take time out of my day to deal with. The dealer took care of it, it's under warranty and all that. They took care of it, but I had to deal with it. Now, everybody ain't gonna own a new car. Everybody probably don't have payments on their car, right? So you might have an older car that potential increases because there is more wear and tear on the vehicle. So, as a vehicle, most people know, if you don't know, as a vehicle where it tears more, you're more likely to have to do more extensive repairs on it. So, you want to have money set aside where if your car breaks down, if your like one time I actually closed the trunk. I'm so silly. I actually got this phone has a new screen on it. I actually closed the trunk on my screen. Just being in a hurry, closed the trunk on it, shattered the screen. It was done for. It was a done deal. Took it to Apple. I think I paid $350 to get a new screen put on. And yeah, I could have got it done cheaper, but I wanted to take it to the people who made this phone. I ain't want to take it to no little chop shop somewhere else. Nope, I want to take it to the people who made the phone. So I took it to Apple. I think I paid like 300, 350 for them to do it. They finished in 1 hour. They don't be messing around, man. Apple, them people remarkable up in there. That's another thing. If I would have took with a little chop shop, probably chop shop would have had my phone about 2, 3 days. Hey, I gotta get my phone back as soon as possible. This is how I make money. So, but anyway, that was another thing. Who would have known that I would close the trunk on the trunk on my phone? Who would have known I did that? I ain't planning to do that. You think I plan to close the trunk on my phone? No. I didn't want to come off that 350 to fix it, but I had the resources to fix it. It wasn't a big deal. And the thing about it is you got to understand things happen. I'm going to take you guys another example. So right now I have two vehicles. I have an older GMC 2000 GMC Sierra, and then I have a newer 2014 Honda Civic. The GMC Sierra, it's older. It's approaching 300,000 miles, and I mean it's been taken care of like phenomenally, but it's old. I didn't have to change the brakes on it. I've done a tune up on that thing. I've changed all the fluids. It's a 4-wheel drive. I've had to do all that extensive maintenance, but I'm okay with that, and it's not an issue because number one, I own it, and number two, I understand that it's old and that it needs servicing. So I'm not borrowing on a credit card to go fix my truck. Um, or I'm not like not paying my rent to go fix my truck. So this is the importance of having an emergency fund, building up that emergency fund, because things in life do happen that are beyond our control. We might not want it to be like that, but that's just the reality of the world that we live in. Things happen every day that are beyond our control. So this is why you need an emergency fund. So I'm gonna tell you guys why you don't want to invest before you have an emergency fund. So let's just say you started investing in 2020, um, before, like, before the pandemic, like that beginning of 2020. Let's just say you started investing. When you put money in the market, you want that market. You want that needs to be money that you literally will not touch for the next 10 years at a minimum. That's the timeline that you gotta think when you're putting money investing. That's the timeline that you have to be thinking about. This money I'm not even gonna touch this money for the next 10 years of my life. I'm just gonna add to it. I'm not gonna look at the fluctuations. I'm not gonna look at if it's down today, down this week. All I'm gonna do is add to it, and I don't need this money for the next 10 years. That's how you have to think about investing. But the issue is, say, okay, for example, if you began investing in 2020 before the coronavirus pandemic, okay, so you're investing. Oh, all of a sudden, coronavirus comes. Okay, the market's tanking, so everything that you had in there ain't worth what it was a month ago. So you didn't lost 20-30% on your portfolio. Oh, your job tells you that they need to lay you off, or oh, not even going into that extent, but oh, well, your car decides to break down and you don't have any money like just in your account. So what do you have to go do? You have to go take that money out that's in the stock. But I'm just gonna go with the latter example. Let's just say your car broke down. Um, you literally lost 20-30% on your money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you bought good companies and so forth. When you're in a market downturn, that's okay. That's gonna happen. Over time, though, the stock market has proven if you buy good companies, you're gonna get a good return on what you put in. But if you had to take out that money prematurely, you didn't sat over here and lost 20-30% on your money. You're hard because, and see, the thing about money too hard to come by to lose 20-30%. Like I've talked about on this channel before, Warren Buffett's first rule of investing is the first rule. He got two rules. These two rules you never need to forget. The first rule is to not lose money. The second rule is to not forget the first rule. So it's that serious about losing money. But let's just say we take this example where you had to take money out of your portfolio to fix your car. You didn't sit over here and lost 20-30%. Your money come by too hard to be losing 20-30%. But here's the thing: if you had an emergency fund that was sufficient, right, you could leave your money in your stocks, and it's not even no problem that it's down 20-30%. You leave it in there because you're gonna leave it in there for 10 years minimum, and you go take money out the emergency fund and you go handle whatever it is that you need to handle. This is why you need to put an emergency fund before you invest, because you have to insulate yourself from the outside world, especially when you're trying to invest, because you literally don't want to touch that money. You need to put that money into the stock market or in whatever investment. You need to put that money and don't think about it. Forget about it and let it work. You can't be disturbing the money and then you're losing money 20-30%. Then you're all mad. You're looking at every so but if you got your emergency fund, it's not no problem. So you want to build the emergency fund first. I'm trying to tell you guys, this is a game that I've learned. Build your emergency fund first. So the second question then becomes, well, how much should I have for my emergency fund? So this is gonna vary. This is gonna vary in where you are in your life as far as finances and so forth. What I recommend at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If you work your way to 6 months, so start off, give yourself a month cushion. Say, okay, you add up all your bills, Maybe it costs you $2,200 to live. You got your rent. So for whatever it is, it maybe cost you $2,000. I don't know. You rent, food, and so forth. Get yourself $2,000 just in a bank account. Just somewhere. Get yourself $2,000. Okay. Then you go work yourself to the next level. Okay. I'm gonna give me 2 months of living expenses. Okay. So then you get $4,000. If your living expenses is 2,000, you get your $4,000 a month. I mean, in an account. Then once you get 2 months, you work your way to 3 months. So don't overwhelm yourself with the fact that dang, like 6 months of expenses is probably like over $10,000. Like believe me, like small increments will add up. You will be amazed if you just take a small step, how that small step can move you to a place that you didn't even think that you can get to. But you just gotta take that small step. And for you, it might take you 4 months just to get the first month. And that's okay. So you do what, $500 every month. Then you got in 4 months, you got 1 month. Okay, you do $500 again for 4 more months. And so that means in 8 months, you got 2 months of cushion. You do that again, $500 for the next 4 months. In a year's time, you have given yourself a 3 months cushion of support. That's what you've done in a year's time. And that's good. 3 months, like if something happens in your life, you got 90 days to figure out a solution. And let me tell you, it don't take that long to come up with solutions. But you've given yourself 90 days of time to come up with a solution. If there's just something drastic happen, maybe you get laid off, I don't know. You know, maybe something big life expense comes up, but you've given yourself 90 days of a cushion. And the thing about it, let me tell y'all something about that. When you have that cushion, like I be opening my bank account some days just to look at it. Because what it does for you is it gives you a degree of security within yourself because you know that you good. You ain't gotta worry about if something happen. Oh, I gotta call my daddy. Oh, I gotta call my mama. Let me try to piece together. Let me go try to call my family members, see if they can pitch in $25. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna pull out a payday loan on my check, or I'm gonna pull out a title loan, and you ain't gotta do stupid stuff. Basically what I'm saying. You ain't gotta do that. You know that you taking care of yourself, and you know that you put yourself in a good position. And when you in that position, I'm telling y'all, when y'all get that emergency fund, you gonna just move differently in life. Like you just when you got that emergency fund, when you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, you just move differently because you know for a fact that you're good. Like you don't have to go like, oh man, like paycheck to paycheck, where it's like, dang, well, if I get laid off, like if they cut my hours or something, like I'm not gonna be able to pay my rent. No, my rent gonna get paid. That's one thing for sure. Like house and home gonna be good. The people who have trusted me to borrow money and so forth, or trust me with their property, they gonna get paid because they put trust in me to pay them. So they gonna get paid. I'm not gonna be out of house and out of home. I'm gonna make sure that the people who trusted me get paid. The people who I borrow money from to buy my Honda Civic, they gonna get paid. The people who I owe money on a credit card, they gonna get paid. The people who allow me to live in this property, they gonna get paid. So don't matter what's going on in my life, those people trusted me to pay them, and they gonna get paid. So I'm just trying to tell y'all, you gonna move differently when you get that emergency fund, and you ain't gotta hit a home run. It may take you some time, and that's okay. So that's what you want to do, is build an emergency fund before you invest. The second thing, and this is going to be an entirely different live, but um the second thing, after you build the emergency fund, you want to pay off debt. But that's a whole nother live talking about debt and whatnot. But before you invest, you first want to build an emergency fund, then you want to pay off debt, and then you want to invest and you just live your best life. So basically how the setup is you got money in the bank, you don't owe nobody, right? If you have no debt, you don't owe anybody. And three, you letting your money work for you. So that's the ultimate goal. But the thing is, see, people want to try to put the water before the horse. No, it's gonna take you some time. If you got debt, it's gonna take you some time. Like right now, I owe like $13,000 on my Honda Civic. And I mean, $13. I mean, the payment's not really bad. It's like $235. But I don't want the debt. I'm paying like $235 a, a month. And I mean, when you do the math on that, let me just pull up the math real quick for you guys. 235 times 12. That's about $3,000 a year, just to pay the note on this car. I mean, imagine what else I can do if I had this money freed up, $3,000. Imagine what else I can do with $3,000 in a year versus paying it into this car. So that's why the first plan for me, like this next coming year, like I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm not just telling y'all anything that I don't do myself. 2023 is the year. I already have a decent emergency fund, but it's not where I want it to be. um it's I really would prefer to have like a year's worth of like living expenses. I don't know, like I'm kind of an ultra paranoid kind of person. You might not be that bad, but that's just kind of how I am. So I want to have like a year's worth of living expenses. So like for me, 2023, I'm already lining it up. I'm putting the pieces to the puzzle. 2023 is going to be the year where I build up like a really nice emergency fund where I got like a year and a half worth of expenses, living expenses taken care of. Then 2024, that's when I'm moving to paying his debt off. I'm gonna pay that car off. I got a plan. I've already put the amortization. I'm gonna knock that car out in 1 year. And then 2025, hey, I'll be about 27 by then. I'm gonna just be investing. I'll be done with my graduate degree. Um, and that's another form of self payment too. I'm paying for my college as I go, and so I'm not taking on student loans. But that's a whole nother conversation. But I'll be 27, like with no debt, 2 degrees paid for, and a lot of money in the bank. So I mean, that's a good position to be in. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. But that's a 3 year plan. That's the like I'm not about to do this overnight. And so that's what I'm trying to tell people, trying to get you guys to see is that it's gonna take you time to move some of these mountains, but you just chip away a little bit by a little bit. And if you keep that vision of what you're trying to do in mind, you're gonna get to where you want to be, and you're gonna be like, wow, okay, this is cool. Like I'm telling you guys, like I'm gonna reiterate it again, then I'm gonna get up out of here. Once you build up that first month or two of an emergency fund, you're gonna be like, yeah, this feels good. This feels good. Like I know, okay, I ain't worried about it. Car breakdown, okay. Mechanic, $500. Here you go. Change my brakes. Whatever it is, you're gonna be like, okay, ain't no problem. You know, um, and that's how you deal with life. You don't deal with life. Oh my God, I can't believe this happened. It keeps on freaking happening. No, you deal with life. You just deal with it. You don't complain about stuff that you got to deal with in life. I mean, that's stupid. You got a mechanical device and you complaining that you got to fix it. Don't even make sense. I mean, there's no vehicle that has not been needing repairs in the history of vehicles. They built them to break down. I mean, I don't know if you guys have done any research on this. I mean, literally, if they wanted to build a car that didn't break down, they would build it to not break down. They built it that way to break down so that they can make money. So that's just the reality of it. That's just what it is. So what you gonna do? That's outside of your control. But what you can control is, okay, well, since I know the facts of owning a vehicle, here's how I need to deal with that. And so that's how I look at everything. And like I understand the facts of what it is that I'm doing, and I try to navigate according to the facts of what I'm dealing with. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live. And until the next time, my name is Joseph, and I'm out. Peace.